I'm very sympathetic to situations where you don't have much control over the environment you're in. For example, visa is a big problem in this country. A lot of people in tech are immigrants, and their situations are very different from citizens like myself. So, one thing that if you're basically always worried about losing your job, and then losing your job meaning losing your immigration status, then it just becomes a very tough thing, and I am very sympathetic to that. But leaving that aside, I do think for those who are not under these kinds of external pressures to perform or to do something, I think burnout can be controlled, and I never encourage people to burn out. Whenever I have gone to that territory, I've sort of pulled back and mixed up my work life with other things to really find other ways to feel better about myself. Ultimately, most things are about feeling good about yourself, like whether it's your job, how much money you make, what you're building, and how else you're spending your 24 hours. And I feel like if your job is not fully satisfying, burnout is going to happen even if you're not working 18 hours a day. Burnout is often a matter of like not feeling very satisfied in the work you do. Although I think the other one is also possible where you like what you do, but you're spending way too many hours. So there are at least two different kinds of burnouts. But like, at least for the former, where you're burned out because you don't like what you do, not because of how many hours you put in, I do think you have a choice of like finding something different and pushing yourself to like find something, whether it's within your company or whether it's somewhere else. Finding your passion really can change what will burn you out. If you really enjoy what you do, I think you'll generally be able to absorb many more hours, and I've always experienced that in my life. And what I have done, I've somewhat escaped this by whenever I've felt overwhelmed because I didn't enjoy what I did, because that has been my number one source of burnout. I've never really burnt out by the hours I've worked because I've always time boxed the number of hours I work. When I've changed companies or jobs or roles or my approach to work, it's easier said than done again, but I think we should strive for that. And if you start now, if you are listening to this and you are feeling burnt out because you're not inspired by the work you do, give yourself some time, like n number of months, to find something different. There are some corner cases that are tricky. For example, if you're very close to a promotion, it might be pragmatic to like power through it, get your promotion, then like do something else. I think you have to like balance these. I'm generally pragmatic about these things. I think like I don't like these slogans where you say, oh, you shouldn't work another day of this, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're this close to a promotion and it has an economic impact on your life going forward, don't just quit. Just power through maybe a few more days or whatever. Of course, like not everyone will even want to endure that, which is totally fine. But I think you just want to like make sure you're looking at all aspects of what are the sources of your burnout. What are the escape routes from that state of burnout? Can you wait 3 more months, get a promotion, then change your job or company or manager? A lot of times your relationship with your manager can cause a burnout. I've had managers that like completely make me feel comfortable with no matter what the situation is. It almost like your manager prevents you from a burnout by the words they use. And it can also go the other way around, where the manager gives you so much stress that you're constantly burnt out. And your anxiety goes up every time you meet your manager. So those things happen, right? So be pragmatic, list down all the things that are causing burnout, hours of days worked, the degree of passion with which you're working, the relationship with your manager and your peer group, the level of inspiration you're deriving out of the product that you're building or the service that you're building. Those factors should like, and then how close you are to a career jump. If you factor all those in, I think you'll get an answer, but you have to be systematic about analyzing that.